Almost every day I face what Steven Pressfield calls the resistance. The resistance is all of the excuses that come up in your head about why you should put off the thing that you know you should be doing. This is the voice in your head saying maybe you're a little too tired today, or that you should really wait for this other thing to happen before doing this, or because you have plans in 7 hours, you might as well just sit around and do nothing until then. Literally, as I've been planning out this video, my neighbors downstairs have been blasting music all day, and there's been construction literally next door, and it's just been crazy loud. And no joke, not just for the video, this almost made me give up on making a video today like 1,000 times. Now at this point, the common advice would be that you gotta power through it. You gotta be a productivity machine. You gotta work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, non-stop hustle. But the problem with that is it's dumb advice, and not completely, there's some truths in it, but if that was all I said in this video, it would not be a very good video. So instead, I'm going to be breaking this into 5 concepts. And by the end of this video, I think you'll feel more ready to actually do some shit. And by the way, disclaimer, I am not a professional at this. The reason I feel qualified to talk about this is because it's something that I've struggled so much with personally. So I am not the burnout expert necessarily of how to work and be a machine all the time, but I am experienced in struggling with this and coming up with things that have worked for myself to break out of this. And for most of the last year or so, I would say I've been pretty burned out, and a lot of these are solutions that I've found that have led to me starting to get back onto my usual healthy, good routine. So the first concept is something that needs to be addressed because it is probably the root cause of your burnout, and this is that you hate what you're doing. Money is driving all of us to play a game that we never wanted to play. What would you be doing if you already had $1 billion? How do you really want to spend your limited amount of time? We're constantly distracted by this game that gets disguised as practicality. It can be hard to stay focused on selling baking supplies or whatever random thing you're doing when we don't even understand consciousness or the universe. So it makes perfect sense that it's hard to work on something that doesn't really matter to you. It's hard to think or care about business when you really zoom out. It all just evaporates. What do you actually want to spend your time doing? What captured your attention for hours as a kid? What did you wake up wanting to do? Most likely, very little of what we're actually doing. So I think it's important to zoom out and reevaluate what it is that we're doing, because the further we are from what we actually want to be doing, the more resistance we're going to face. And again, that makes sense. Why the hell would you be motivated to work so hard on something that you don't like, that doesn't interest you, and is ultimately not the way you want to be spending your limited lifetime before you die forever? Die forever, yeah. So I've definitely faced a lot of burnout over this past year, and this concept here is the one that I think is a root cause for myself and for probably a lot of people. It's that what we're working on, what we're trying to force us to do, we don't want to do. And that makes a lot of sense as to why we would then resist it. So the way that I am fixing this in my life is I've been introducing a lot of new projects that are in the works, that are things that just excite me, things that I just want to do, that just seem like fun. And these might not be the biggest opportunities that come my way. I constantly have people trying to show me opportunities that I should pursue, or you should do this, you should do that. But instead, I'm trying to ignore a lot of that noise and just do some things that excite me, things that I might want to just do anyways, that can lead to businesses, that can lead to connections, but they're ultimately fun for me. And those are the things that I have in the works now. So for me, what this looked like is so much of my life became Amazon and selling on Amazon and talking about Amazon on YouTube. It was just a 24/7 thing. And after years of that, I definitely got burned out on just going in and doing the same monotonous things, answering the same questions. And that's why you've seen me, for example, on YouTube, try to branch out into broader topics, say like this video, even for example. This video is a lot more enjoyable for me to make right now. And it just feels more creative and more important. I think these overarching topics are more important. And when I do these other things that are energizing to me, it also gives me more energy to do the other things that I didn't want to do. It's like a better balance. So you do some things for you and then some things that you have to do, and it comes and flows a lot easier that way. And as I said, I'm also now working on new projects that are just gonna be fun for me. For example, I am obsessed with cars. A lot of you know that. So I am working on a new car parts brand, not a Amazon brand, but a physical products brand, but car parts, higher price, totally different, but stuff that is really fun and exciting to make and manufacture. And I'm just going to I'm loving already every aspect of this business just because it's so much more engaging for me right now. And another is that I love listening to podcasts. I just love it. So I am coming out with my own interview style podcast, which I think will just be incredibly enjoyable to have interesting, deep, high level conversations with interesting people. So I'm very excited to get those things going. So from making videos that are creative and engaging to starting this car parts brand that is a passion and a new territory for me, and also starting this interview podcast where I get to engage with interesting people. These things are exciting me a lot right now. And it's easier to work on those things than things that just felt like a monotonous grind. By the way, also, I mentioned the resistance of all of this noise around me today at home and why I almost didn't make this video. Now I have everything closed, and so I'm sweating because it's also hot outside. So more resistance. The next concept is probably the most tactical that is helping me to actually get some shit done lately. And this is the pain of not doing. So this concept isn't new to me, but it was recently reintroduced, and it's really helping me just to kind of meditate on this idea and think about it, because I've gone through such a slump of knowing a few things that I really wanted to get done, but just not actually doing the work. But what I realized is that the amount of pain that I put myself through for not getting it done is much worse than the pain of just actually getting that thing started. While it feels like it would suck to start working on this thing that I don't want to do, the truth is that when I don't do it, I'm not just necessarily having fun and enjoying my life. I'm probably a lot of the time beating myself up and thinking about how much of a crappy person I am because I didn't do that freaking damn thing that I should be doing. And then because of that, I just feel bad, and realizing that that pain every single day for months accumulating is much worse and outweighs the pain of just actually forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do sometimes. So this one can definitely help you to actually just do the hard thing. If you think about how much worse it is to not do the thing, how much worse are you off by just putting this off and not starting your business, not, working on that thing that could triple your business, or not doing the thing that could free up more time for you, or something that you just really enjoy and want to do. It's not all just about ROI and making your business bigger and bigger. The shit in the back of your mind. So I find that the more unfinished things that I have just lurking in the back of my mind, the more of those that I have, the less likely I am to feel free and open and clear thinking to actually work on the thing that matters, or the thing that I most want to do or should do. And this one I'm incredibly guilty of. I have still now so many background things that have sat for years, but I do find the more I kind of check those things off the list, these lingering things, these back of the mind things, the more I just feel a little lighter, a little more free to work on things that I want to work on, or have less overall tasks on my mind such that I can just focus in on the thing that might be hard, but is the thing that I should be doing. I'll give you an example that I'm embarrassed about, but a lot of you know that one of my past businesses was buying and selling used phones. So, old Samsung Galaxy whatevers and iPhones, buying used ones often in bulk and then reselling them on eBay. And I stopped this a few years ago, but towards the tail end of that business, I still had a couple connections that would sometimes send me a message like, hey, I've got 50 phones for you. And at the end, even though I was already on the way out, I wouldn't say no to them, because I was like, I might as well make a couple $1,000s off of literally one email and just throwing some stuff up on eBay. But here's the embarrassing part, is that I still have a huge box of phones that I've never sold. I've just literally ignored it for the past couple of years. So clearly I've lost my money on that. to some extent, but it's just something I just never got back around to because I was already on the way out of it and I bought it thinking I would just quickly sell it. And instead I just pushed it off for so freaking long at this point. And at some point I'll just go list them all in bulk or sell them off to another reseller or something and just be done with it. And that'll create some more space for me. The next concept is to put less on your to-do list. Slow progress is much, much, much better than no progress. And a few things per day is honestly a lot. I think most people right now have the sickness of trying to do too much. And I'll call it a sickness because I've been infected too. And I'm trying to recover from this thing, this infection that we all have. And we feel like we need to do 100 things a day. We need to go for absolutely everything we possibly can. And this might be a way to sort of maximize your business, though I would argue probably isn't, but it's definitely not a way to optimize your life and to get what you actually want. So rather than overwhelm yourself with a 50 item task list every single day and then getting to the end where you've accomplished absolutely 2 things, I would suggest what's worked for me is just keep it small. Like a few things a day is a lot. I mean, we don't need to overwhelm ourselves and think that we need to accomplish the work of 10 years today. If you just make these small steps, lay some bricks every single day on your business, on your creative projects, whatever it is that you're doing, these things really, really, really add up over time. So focus on the most important tasks, put those first on your list. A few things per day is plenty. I don't think there are many people that honestly get done more than a couple important things per day. And for me, this combines work and my personal life as well, because to me, it's all blended together. It's all tasks that need to be done. So whether I need to go grocery shopping or make a business phone call, either way, those are items on my list, my agenda for the day that need to be done. And there are days where I get nothing done. And it doesn't help me at all to have 20 unfinished items at the end of the day, any more than it does to have 1 or 2 left over that get moved on to the next day. So I'm going for a workflow that just feels more of a comfortable pace where I'm getting done important things, ignoring a lot of the noise, and moving at a comfortable pace. You're better than you think. A lot of resistance comes from fear of doing something and not knowing the outcome. There's even people that say that people won't start a business because they're afraid of success. I don't know if I can quite get my head around that one, but I get what they're trying to say. And I think a lot of it is that we're afraid to do the thing because we don't know exactly how it's going to work. We don't know all the steps. We don't know the outcome. We don't know if we're going to succeed or fail. And we're afraid of all of those potential outcomes. So rather than face those fears, we just kind of kick the ball down the road and don't do the thing. And instead just keep putting it off and keep giving in to the resistance. For example, even with this video, part of the reason why I resisted it is I started planning it out and I got a little bit more ambitious with the beginning of this video, trying to stitch together different parts, and I just felt like it was gonna be crap. And I know from experience now that while this might not be the best video you've ever seen, it's probably a lot better than I first imagined it. So what I mean here is that I find that when I just put something out there, when I just do something, when I start writing what I need to write, when I start making the video that I need to make, when I start, planning out product ideas that I need to brainstorm, I find that even if you feel like you're doing a bad job, it usually ends up being better than you think once you just get something out on paper or whatever it is and then check on that after the fact. And I find it's a lot easier to revise things than to start. So just throw some stuff out there. It does not have to be perfect. Try not to judge what you're doing and instead only judge the fact of if you actually started on the thing for even 5 minutes. Because if you do 5 minutes on something, you're probably going to do longer on it and you're probably going to get something out of it that is actually usable at the end of the day. I hope this video can help you just a bit to break out of that resistance. I know for a fact that myself, I'll still fall into those traps a million times over the course of my work life, but this video is a reminder to myself and a reminder to you, just a few of the things that will help you get a little bit more back on track. And it's not about being perfect, it's just about making some consistent progress. And if you enjoyed this video, please do smash the like button and leave comments on this video. Those things really help with the YouTube algorithm and to potentially show this video to more people. So I'd really appreciate it if you do those things. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell if you want to, if you want annoying little notifications on your phone, and maybe you don't, and that's fine too. And check out the links in the description to all kinds of resources and other things. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Matt Loverstein. And See you next video.